Welcome to this special edition of Mayor's Report. We're on location in Dublin with all three mayors joining us. I'm your host, Dr. Marshall Kamena. Joining me today is Mayor Jack Balch from the city of Pleasanton, Mayor John Marchand from the city of Livermore, and Mayor Hu from the great city of Dublin and our hostess. Mayor Hu, let's set the stage for our viewers. We here, as part of Channel 30, made a few years ago a very wonderful award-winning film on the Kolb Center and the Kolb House, and I wonder if you'd tell us your view of some of the history here.
Thank you so much. First, I want to welcome all of you to be here in our beautiful city of Dublin. And we love our heritage here. So we want to say, before this heritage park was built, and we actually have this Kolb House and several buildings located in their original location in the Kolb Ranch at the base of the Dublin Canyon and on the southwest of the Amador Valley. So what eventually became Highway 580 separated the Kolb family's land in 2011 with approval of Carol Kolb, the family member, the Sunday school barn, as you can see, and the hay barn, the old house, the pump house, and the Kolb house were moved from their original location in the Dublin Ranch Road to become part of this Dublin Heritage Park and Museums.
Thank you for that. Mayor Balch and Mayor Marchand, we know Pleasanton and Livermore also have historical venues. Where would your residents go to see some of that history? Let's start with Mayor Balch.
Thank you very much, and yeah, it's very nice to be here today. I appreciate Dublin and TV30 having us here. So many of us know the Tri-Valley well, but for Pleasanton, we're pretty impressed or supportive of our downtown. We've got almost 90 historical buildings down there, and it's a walk down Mayberry, if you will, but we call it Pleasanton. And if you also want to see some historical elements, you can definitely visit our museum on Main, which is located right on Main Street, right at the Arch. I was looking at the history getting ready. It was brought together and paid for by the Women's Improvement Club back in 1914. So I didn't know that when I was preparing. And then it's also served as one of our first libraries. It's served as our city hall, and it's currently this museum. So that is one of the buildings we're really impressed and proud of. Just to round it out, we've got the Alameda County Fairgrounds. We're the host city for that. We're very proud of that. That's been here over a century in Pleasanton. I'm sure many from the Tri-Valley and beyond have visited it. Oldest 1 mile racetrack this side of the Mississippi. And then our Viso Adobe, which is kind of located on the west side of town off of Foothill. It is one of the original first certified dairies in California. So we're really impressed and proud to have that in city limits. And then lastly, I'll just throw it out. Maybe not terribly historic, but terribly important for Pleasanton's identity is our Meadowlark Dairy drive-through for the soft serve ice cream, currently rated in the top 10 per Yelp of self-serve ice cream in the nation. So got a lot of historical charm.
Yes, and they're coming back to Livermore as well.
I hear they might be expanding into Livermore, so I wanted to make sure I anchored them in our beautiful city of Pleasanton.
We're going to be getting that as well. So lots of history in Livermore. Livermore really is where the Tri-Valley began, especially at the Hageman Farm. So the Amaral Adobe was actually constructed by Robert Livermore. He was a mason back in England and apprenticed as a mason. So he came out here and built a number of the adobes because it's just a different kind of brick from what he was used to. We also have some of our historic sites. We have one of the Carnegie Libraries was built in Livermore. We just celebrated the 100th anniversary not long ago for the Carnegie Library. And of course, you remember Andrew Carnegie said, if you will maintain the library, I'll give you one. So he built libraries all across the country, and children collected pennies. They saved pennies to create the site for the.
That's where those deep pockets came from the
That's
children.
right. That's the Carnegie Library in downtown. We also have one of our beautiful sites is Ravenswood. The Ravenswood site is it's actually managed by LARPD. but that was the summer home for Mayor Christopher Buckley.
Financed by a loan from the city of Livermore for the Ravenswood estate.
That's right. That's right. And that was he was called the Blind Boss of San Francisco, and this was his summer home. And they maintained this from about 1885 to 2020 to 1920, and this was their summer home because, as you know, Mark Twain is reputed to have said the coldest winter he ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. So they came out here to warm up. Also, we've got the Hageman Ranch, which is also the site of the Sunflower Hill Farms. But Hageman Farm, or Hageman Ranch, I was on the Zone 7 board with Augie Hageman for a number of years. But that's one of the sites where the Sunflower Hill residents work, is at the Sunflower Hill Farms right there at Hageman Farm. And that's one of the first homes that was built. It was a kit home, as I recall, that came around the Cape of Good Hope, and was built here at Hageman Farm. So it's really where a lot of history where the Tri-Valley really began. But again, those are some of the sites that people can come to Livermore to get some of the history from the region.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I mention something? You forgot to mention the light bulb, which is a bit more modern, if you don't mind.
Certainly.
Enlightening us.
Enlightening.
Yes,
yeah.
Pun intended.
Well, so Dennis Burnell donated the light bulb to the Livermore Fire Department, the Livermore Fire Department, and that's the Livermore Pleasanton Fire Department. But that's been burning continuously since 1901. So it's been burning for over 124 years. And that's in the Guinness Book of Records. It's in the Ripley's Believe It or Not. So thank you for reminding me of that. But and it's been burning continuously, and they only shut it off in 1976 when they moved at lights and sirens from First Street down to East Avenue to Fire Station number 6.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. And then when they turned it on, it didn't come back on. So they got the electrician down there, and he tapped it a couple of times, and came back up.
Magic finger.
Is that a story or not?
Just got to know where to tap it.
Yeah, that's right.
And gently. 'Cause back in the day, when they would get a fire call, as they rolled out on First Street, they would slap the light bulb as they rolled out for good luck. And so it's amazing that bulb is still working. We've gone through 2 UPS uninterruptible power sources and 3 video cameras, and we're still on the same light bulb.
The brief? Good luck.
Yes.
I heard that, yes.
What makes the Tri-Valley and your city different from other parts of the Bay Area? How would you show a visitor this difference? Let me please start with Mayor Hu.
Sure. I would say there's a lot of things that are different here. First, as Dr. Marshall just talked about, it's a warmer here, right? We do experience warmer summer and colder winter in the Tri-Valley area. And also it's a safer place. I actually met a lot of residents just during the past event, National Night Out. They moved from San Francisco over here. I asked them, why you moved here? First thing they told me is it's safer here. So we are proud. We are a safer neighborhood. And also we have a lot of beautiful parks, a lot of great schools, and that provide a very family-friendly environment. And just in a few weeks, we will have our 25th park open. It's a Wallace Ranch Park. And we were just so proud of what we have here. We offer to the community members different events throughout the year, and like a farmers market during the summer season. We had a concert tonight in the farmers market. It's always popular. People love to gather in the concert, and we dance. We have a great time there. So that's a few much different things compared to other parts of the Bay Area.
Thank you, Mayor Hu. That was very, very wonderful to hear all those items.
Yes.
How about Livermore?
Livermore. So one of the great things about the Tri-Valley is we all have certain things that we excel in. We all have things that everybody can share in and do a little bit better than everybody else. So Livermore was recently ranked as one of the top 5 cities for quality of life by Wallet Hub in the state of California. Top 5. And we're also the original wine region of California. Robert Livermore planted wine grapes here in 1849. With 2 national laboratories, we're at the cutting edge of technology. As was mentioned, we have the world's longest continuously burning light bulb. We also have the world's fastest rodeo. Not that the horses are any quicker, but we've got more gates, so the events happen in more rapid succession. We also have the world's fastest supercomputer. El Capitan is the fastest computer in the world. His little sister is Tuolumne, which is the 10th fastest computer in the world. And we're also the first site in the world to create nuclear fusion ignition. So really, the cutting edge of technology. We're still a ranching family in Livermore. You can go downtown, run into multiple PhD physicists and ranchers, cowboys, artists. It's a very vibrant community, very exciting community, and we're very proud to be a part of the Tri-Valley.
I learned something very recently I didn't know. Here's a question, or 3 questions. Do you know where the first registered wine region was in the county of Alameda? Hold that thought. Do you know which one was for the state of California? Hold that thought. Which one was the first one for the entire United States? Livermore.
Yes.
Livermore.
We were the first commercial wine region in the entire state. And so Wente is the longest continuously operated family-owned winery in America.
Well, there you go. Aren't you glad you came?
Yeah, I've been there.
1883.
And last but absolutely not least, what might you add to this conversation?
Yeah, I'll echo my fellow mayors here. I think that the Tri-Valley has such a unique quality of life for all of us. And as Mayor Marchand mentioned, we all bring something to the table that adds collectively to the 3 cities. And even when we add in our neighbors to the north, San Ramon and Danville. You know, for me, I'll start to say, I think it's geographically blessed. I really do. From the Tri-Valley, you can get anywhere in the world through San Francisco, Oakland, or San Jose airports. You can enjoy Tahoe, you can go down to the Central Coast, or you can go north. And so we are different than the peninsula and some of these other areas by that availability alone. Then you add on top of that the university systems that are around us, how people can pull in labor or labor force from the San Joaquin valleys over the hill into the Tri-Valley. And so we've just got a geographical blessing that we really, I think, have done through long-term planning and innovation, really cultivated to grow to where we're at. You know, just similar to Livermore's boast of their rating. Pleasanton received 2nd in the nation on U.S. Social Progress Map, a different agency for rating for quality of life. And number 1 was San Ramon, just to our north. And that was based on safety, education, healthcare, community cohesion, and opportunity. And opportunity, I think, is really the reason I think that kind of really ties in the Tri-Valley. Whether you're going to the lab for high tech, AI in Dublin, or life sciences in Pleasanton, we all are bringing something to the table on a cutting edge. You know, I think for Pleasanton, a bit more specific, our ridgeline and ridgeline access, that's a little different than Dublin and Livermore's geographically, provides an ample opportunity to recreate in a different way. A lot of our residents are bike focused, and we've opened that up to biking trails. And mostly through partnership with East Bay Regional Park District, we've been able to open up, you know, many more acres up on the Pleasanton Ridge that brings a quality of life opportunity. We also have 46 parks in our community, as many of our communities do. And I think that our residents really realize the value of having a neighborhood park during COVID, when we're all very constrained on where we can go or how it is. I think it really helped mental health to have a neighborhood park, at least in Pleasanton, within a walking distance. And that was long-range planning put in place way before I became mayor, but I really continue to support as a principal, because it does matter when you don't realize it does. And COVID, I think, proved it out. But as Mayor Marchand said and Mayor Hu, we've got life science, we've got healthcare, Stanford, medicine, Tri-Valley. For Pleasanton, we've got Kaiser headquarters locating here, Sutter Health, and John Muir. So healthcare, life science is really one of our main elements, and just the innovative ecosystem. We're all part of Innovation Tri-Valley. We're all trying to solve these challenges that don't stop at a municipal border. So I just think that is a lot different than where other municipalities have. And it's just something we've really tried to facilitate, and I'm really trying to amplify in partnership.
What you've just said is very touching indeed. And I believe that you as mayors go to the mayors' conferences once a month with all 14 cities. And when you come this way and just get over Hayward Hills, I just know there's a breath of fresh air. Isn't that true?
Yes, that's
We're
true.
going to take a break. We'll be right back with the next edition of Mayor's Report on Location. Welcome back to this edition of Mayor's Report on Location. If you're just joining us, we're at the Dublin Heritage Park and Museum. Guess what? I'd like to ask you to address growth and change. And each of your cities has been working really hard on improvements that include housing and transportation and rethinking or revamping of the restaurants and the shopping areas. Some of this is due to the evolution created by the pandemic, and some by state and federal regulations. Please give us a summary of some of the changes that are in the works in your city. And may I please start with Mayor Marchand?
Certainly. So we've been revamping our development codes. There's been a lot of work on accessory dwelling units, the ADUs that everybody's talked about. And this really is a challenge because people want to be able to maintain their quality of life, but at the same time, we need to be bringing in people that want to live here. And as has been said, everybody loves progress, but they hate change. And so we're trying to balance all of those things. We've just recently developed a series of pre-approved ADU plans for the accessory dwelling units. If somebody wants to put a mother-in-law unit or a student unit into the back of their property, we have pre-approved plans with a set approval fee of $1,000. So you can come in, select some of the plans, and then because we've already reviewed them, the fees to get these plans approved is only $1,000. We also had multifamily objective design standards, the mods that we just approved, so that this way we can streamline the development process. So if somebody comes in with a project, we can move that more quickly, and as a consequence, it's cheaper. Also, working with our downtown, we learned from the pandemic to streamline the approval process for some of these outdoor dining facilities. Livermore was recognized recently as having the top #1 downtown in the entire East Bay. We're very, very proud of that. We've invested significant amounts of capital into that. We just took the fences down around Flagpole Plaza. We completely revamped. We took out the steps, took out the decomposed granite, and we've got this wonderful community gathering space right there around the fountain and around the restaurants. But they have enhanced lighting. We've got some gaming tables out there so people can play chess or checkers. And we've also tied that into our real-time awareness center with the police department. So it's safer, it's ADU accessible, or excuse me, it's ADA accessible. So it's really become this wonderful, yet another community gathering space. We've got Livermore Plaza celebrating the technology in our community, and at the same time, right across the street, we have Stockman Park to celebrate our Western heritage. So a lot of great things coming together, but it's making those strategic investments in the community, and that's what's making.
I read a lot about the flagpole over the years, and recently Can you estimate, is the flagpole as it stands now anywhere near its original height?
Actually, I believe it's a little bit taller than the original height, because the original flagpole was showing its weather, showing its age. So we took off a 65-foot chunk, and that's over at the Veterans area at Carnegie Park. And but then we bought a new flag. And you know what? I believe it's 126 feet tall.
Good.
So,
Yeah, I was thinking 120, but that's close.
yeah, and it was 126 feet, and that was originally across the street, and then they moved it with the Flagpole Plaza in 1905, and then we took it down close to 100 years later.
Thank you for that clarification. And now I'd sure love to hear from Sarah Hu, the mayor of Dublin, our hostess.
Yes, we have a lot of new things. So let's talk about, as you know, we are at 580, 680 Crossroad place, and also we have 2 bar stations in our city of Dublin. It's a Dublin Pleasanton station and the West Dublin Pleasanton stations. So over years, we have been working on creating a transit-oriented communities.
Mm-hmm.
So just I just want to say a few things. We do have this Avalon West apartments that has 499 apartments available. I just visited there a couple of days ago. 93% already rented out. So people love to stay in our place, and then they can enjoy our local community. It's also a walkable distance to the West Dublin Bar Station. So if they still need to go to
that
work,
was really
it's
good
very
planning,
easy
wasn't
for
it?
them. Yes, and also in addition to that, you probably heard of our Dublin downtown plan. So just near that West Bar Station, there will be big plan in the next few years. There's a downtown, there's a park, there's shopping places, there's additional like townhomes, residential homes. And additionally, I just want to say a few things. There's another building, we call this Amador Station, that will have 300 units for affordable homes. And another one, I think we just had a grand opening for the, let me see what's that one is. So there's a few buildings in that neighborhood just form this community to be transit oriented, very easy to access to other region. Beyond that, we want to also mention on the east side of the Dublin near the Tasahara Road. If you pass there, you can see a lot of construction going on, and that's the project we call this Dublin Center. So everybody wants to be the center, right? There's a downtown, there's a center. And then there will be residential homes, the shopping place, and also on the south side near the highway, there is Top Golf will come. I think a lot of people got excited about this Top Golf that will happen in a few years. Another thing we do want to mention is, another thing is, because people live longer and longer life, and a lot of baby boomers. Are you baby boomers?
Thank you for saying that.
So
Thank you so
we
much.
have some baby boomers here. So when they are aging, we still want to provide a high quality life. So they are not just living independent life. They also are still thriving. So we have 2 assisted living projects will come, and one is called Whitford. It's near the Arnold Road. It's kind of in the middle of the city. Another one coming on the west side of the city, near the Inspiration Drive. There's assisted living and the memory care facilities over there. So just want to provide a place for our seniors. If they don't want to leave the town, they have choices over there.
And with the 12 seconds we have left, please take some time and contribute to this.
Yeah, thank you very much. So for growth and change, there's quite a few things mentioned. It's housing and whatnot, but I think for Pleasanton, it's actually been a bit of a philosophical change as well. We have been a bit slow growth for many years, should not ignore the realities at play. And I think the pandemic significantly shifted our understanding of our city finances, our understanding of our strength as a city overall, Pleasanton very specifically. And frankly, fundamentally, our tax base and how we provide the necessary and wanted services to our residents and businesses. So as part of the council's work that we're doing now, I think we're really trying to take a hard look at how do we want to grow? How do we want to make sure we can capture change? And change has got such a derogatory stereotype to it, but it actually can be very harnessed for very positive things. Maybe not a great example is an iPhone, but innovations in health, pacemakers and things to help you live longer and medicines. So change can be very good. And so one of the main things that I think we're really focusing on in the city of Pleasanton is how to harness that change in a better, more productive way. For me, and I'll just mention, we just completed adopting a new budget. In that budget, we're combining our economic development department and our planning department so that we can really try to, as Mayor Marchand alluded to, is what's helped Livermore, streamline the processes so that we can get businesses from concept to reality and open door as expediently as possible. We can't forego our regulatory obligations in any way, but we need to be thinking about how we can be a partner, not just a regulator. And so that's, I think, one of my fundamental underpinnings that I've been trying to work on with support from my fellow council members. But that leads us into the change that's occurred whether we wanted it or not. And for Pleasanton, that's really our Stone Ridge Mall. We have to address what's going on in the mall and change in retail. We have to address the challenges to our downtown and retail. While we would like retail to be the vibrant underpinning, in the world of online commerce, it's changed, and we need to accept that and move forward. And then lastly, housing. And so where Pleasanton's really working in housing is some of our opportunity sites. The east side, we're looking at annexing approximately 80 acres between us and Livermore in a thoughtful way, trying to really be diligent about how we plan that out. Some of the projects that are approved will bring approximately 700 new homes to Pleasanton and 100 affordable units, which we've really been a bit delinquent in providing for some time. And so we're having a bit of a gut check, a cultural check in Pleasanton about where do we want to go. And I think a lot of people have, maybe been willing to think about how being a slow growth city has not really been in our best interest long term. So there's definitely a balance. It's a very tight topic or hot topic. I called housing the third rail of Pleasanton politics for years. But I think people understand that if you want to be able to live in place and you want to be able to still have the amenities and the nonprofit services, we really have to be an inclusive community for all. We have to provide opportunities for our youth to come back to town in an affordable way, as well as our seniors and our working group. So very excited on all those things that we're doing, trying to streamline that. And I will mention, because people probably will hear about it during this segment, we just received an application from Amazon in our east side. We're just recently
To take over your whole east side?
Well, they already own several acres there, so they've already submitted an application to build some flex warehouse space, and also the BART location in Pleasanton. BART is working with us to proceed forward to look at how to design that as a transit-oriented community. So a lot is happening. We're trying to make sure our community can balance this, make sure they're comfortable with it, because change can be hard. But I'm really hopeful that we'll harness it for the good.
One of the hardest things the mayor presides over is trying to get the budget. And this has not been easy, but I have so many compliments about how you handle that, and I congratulate you for it, and on behalf of your colleagues as well.
Yeah, well, community involvement was critical, so I appreciate the community stepping up, good and bad. It was, yeah.
You have the scars to prove it.
I have the scars to prove it.
Well, while we're on a roll here, addressing this to Mayor Balch also, what projects have you made a priority for your cities might work together now and next year?
I'll be brief because I've seen Mayor Marchand's notes and he's got better ideas than I had come up with. But one of the top topics I think that we are working together on and we can continue to expand on is mental health and homeless support. I know each city has taken a different approach to it, but we are in partnership because our residents fluidly move between the city borders. We've got the county, obviously the county jail in the community in the Tri-Valley, and then Goodness Village and Vineyard 2.0 in Livermore. And they are housing and helping some of our Pleasanton residents as well. We have an alternative mental health response unit bolted onto our police department. I know Dublin's got something similar. And so this is an ever evolving area. We all know about the Measure W funding that we worked with the county. It is what it is, but the Tri-Valley overall does have needs countywide compared to other municipalities. And so I think that's a real opportunity that I've written letters in support of Livermore's actions, and Dublin and I have talked about different items as well. That type of partnership so that we can talk as a region really is testament to why this matters, why it works. The other thing I'll mention is Valley Link and transportation. I know the lab is in Livermore, but I have quite a lot of residents who work at the lab and are residents of Pleasanton. So they're enjoying the transportation between our two cities. They want it to work. They want to be able to eat or dine in any location in the Tri-Valley, and I personally try to dine in any of our three cities more frequently, just because I want to make sure I understand how each of us are handling it, because we see the challenge and the opportunity differently. And so that's kind of where I'll stop, because his notes are very good. I'm ready to hear his answer.
And Mayor Hu, what might you have to say about this presentation and participation with other cities?
I think that's very, very important. I always enjoy the partnership, and also I have to say, especially Mayor Marchand, he has been here for a very, very long time.
Forever.
And so I actually joked about that, but that's true. He's a role model of our Tri-Valley city mayors, and we learn so much from him, not only in his knowledge, experience to handle civic issues, but also for how, who he is, how he cares about the community. He's always be there with the people. He almost goes to every event.
His professionalism and respect and how you carry yourself,
I
is
really
commendable.
think he's a great role model for all of our other mayors. So it's a great partnership. I really enjoy this being part of the mayor. That's my privilege to be here.
I want to hear what Livermore thinks.
You want to think about what I think about the Tri-Valley Planning Partnership?
Sure.
Oh, okay, sure. So the Tri-Valley Planning Partnership, we all work together, and I think that's one of the reasons the Tri-Valley succeeds as well as it does, is the fact that we do work together. As Mayor Balch mentioned, all of us are represented on the Valley Link board. That's to create that transit system that's going to connect the mega region. That's extraordinarily important. Also, our number one priority for all the cities is public safety and so we work together. The Tri-Valley Planning Partnership created this Tri-Valley hazard mitigation plan so that we are all prepared in case there are emergencies like wildfires, earthquakes, these sorts of things. And of course, Livermore has an airport, which is a regional asset. When there were the Napa earthquakes or the Napa wildfires, Livermore was the staging area for this entire region. So the fact that we have an airport is extremely important. Livermore and Pleasanton Sheriff Fire Department, we have a partnership with that. And we have our community emergency response team training that we partnership on together, because that continues to be public safety is our number one priority. So those sorts of partnerships that we have, we continue to nurture, and we will continue to work together to keep this community the remarkable place that it is here in the Tri-Valley.
And if I may, even a more basic example is that all of us use Zone 7 water. We're all tied into the groundwater basin. It matters to all of us. I mean, we have all our unique challenges with that, but Mayor Marchand's experience with that has been valuable in guiding where I help Pleasanton move. And I know we all work with DSRSD on Pleasanton side with Dublin, and yet Livermore's sanitation handles Ruby Hill and Pleasanton. So the connections are always there. And water is obviously a critical issue for both life, but also our business and economy.
Well, and we streamlined the Tri-Valley. We streamlined our East County needs assessment program to streamline grant awards and how those can best be used to serve our communities. So again, this is we received a Helen Putnam Award a while back for the cooperation.
How is Helen?
She's doing great. You know, she's got these awards, and she recognizes excellence, and she recognized this regional collaboration that we did for how do we streamline our community services, and that's been one of the great partnerships that we've had here.
Let's move on to the impact of federal government.
Or lack thereof.
How are the rapid changes in Washington, D.C. affecting your cities? Have any of you taken any actions to minimize their impacts? Mayor Balch, may we start with you again?
Sure. You know, I think that for Pleasanton, one of the things that I worry about is the nonprofits, as Mayor Marchand said. And so how are they going to be continuing to receive block grants or other funding? We've been able to still continue those in Pleasanton with the budget cycle. We just passed that. But overall, you know, the federal government is still very focused on hardening against cyber attack. So Pleasanton is already a part of this America's Water Infrastructure Act. We're trying to harden that target. And, you know, we understand a bit of the challenges of it. You know, one of the main, I think, elements that's come out is sanctuary cities and ICE and all that. But, you know, for me, dealing with the federal government, I want to make sure that we're providing for residents. I just try to keep listening to what my residents want and need. And safety expands across all of them. As Mayor Marchand says, it's one of my first topics is public safety, right? The number one, we want to be safe in our homes. And but when we look a little further, you know, we're looking at how do we get the funding for Valley Link? How do we get infrastructure dollars? And so I see the federal government, you know, we have a congressman that serves us here in the Tri-Valley and has all of our municipalities and a portion of Dublin. And so that communication to the federal government matters. And then I'll mention also, we're focused on really making sure Pleasanton thinks about the maps, the flood maps, the hazard maps, as Mayor Marchand said, the fire maps, mostly from the state of California, really do impact us, and insurance rates, and that's more state specific. So I'm kind of dodging the question, I may say that, because I think we always have to see how it evolves, right? But the federal government overall, the agencies, you know, especially when we met with the lab, and I don't want to get into the next question too much, but the lab matters and they're aware of that. So, yeah.
I saw you so actively engaged in listening to this gentleman. I think you have something you want to respond with.
Oh, yeah, we do want to say, so for a lot of federal government issues, we do have a consultant, very excellent consultant team, Consent, working together with all of us. So they will be our eyes and ears and also a brain sometimes, right? And they are there in Washington, D.C. and also in Sacramento. They will make sure they represent our regional region. They know us very well. They know our regional needs and projects. So they will make sure we get voice out, also listen what's going on, and bring back to us.
Well, Mayor Marchand, what are your thoughts on this topic of the federal government?
Well, the federal government, you know, we can be great partners with the federal government, and they can continue to provide assistance to us. There are grants that we depend upon. Last time we were back in Washington, D.C., we learned that the community development block grants were going to be zeroed out. And these are funds that we use to support the nonprofits in our community. And those funds are critically important to serving those that are in the greatest need for our community. So we'll continue to work with our partners to continue to lobby the federal government to continue to help this region, because California is a net donor state. We give more to the federal government than we get back. And one of the things that we do as a region is we try to claw back as many of those dollars as we possibly can.
Well, with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in just a few moments with the Mayor's Report on location. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report on Location, coming to you from the Dublin Heritage Park and Museums. As one of our last topics, I'd like to ask you to give some thought to travel to Washington, D.C. Now, the Tri-Valley cities work well together as one force. I think that's obvious. And the mayors regularly travel to Washington, D.C. every year. When you travel to Washington, D.C. next, how will you set your priorities? And may I ask, Mayor Hu, would you lead that off?
Sure. So last time we traveled in end of April, I think, and 5 mayors of the Tri-Valley, we were together in the same office. We talked to congressmen, senators, Department of Energy, Department of Transportation. A lot of great meetings just happened in that 2 days while we were there. So I think it's very important, first, for all the mayors, we stay together and we are team players, and we are together to advocate for our regional priorities. And when we meet a lot of these leaders, they were shocked, also surprised. They love to have all of us there in one meeting with them. Mayor Marchand asked, what's your last time you say 5 mayors in the same office together? It's the last time we visited them. It's always like that. So we love this kind of impact, and also have a very good impression. That's very important too. When they make their legislative decisions, they'll remember the conversation with us, and we remember we were there in the room with them. So that's very important. So when you ask the next topic about what's our next trip, I think will be next year in the springtime. So when we set up our priorities, first, of course, we'll talk about our regional projects, important priorities together. And we also, as we mentioned, we have a consultant, Townsend, who's excellent, who help us to voice our opinions in very strategic way. And also we all were briefed about what's going on, how to present in a very strategic, but also very important, significant, clear way to the legislative bodies over there.
That was very well done. Mayor Marchand, may we hear from you?
Certainly. So one of the important things about going back to Washington, D.C. is to maintain the relationships we have with our elected officials and also with the staffs of the different organizations. One of the things we do every time we go back is we meet with the Department of Transportation, the National Nuclear Security Administration, which manages the 2 laboratories that we have. And those are critically important assets that we have here in our region. People from all our cities work at the laboratories. We talk about transportation and infrastructure, climate and environment, health and safety, economic development, housing and homelessness. And as Mayor Hu mentioned, when we go back as 5 mayors, we really punch above our weight as a region because we represent over 350,000 people. And that will make us one of the largest cities in the region. So it's very important when we go back, and we're talking, for example, cybersecurity, energy security. We will never have national security until we have energy security, because we are funding both sides of the war on terror by supporting countries that support terrorism by buying oil from them. So we really need to have energy security. And the fact that those 2 things, energy and cybersecurity, are 2 of the primary focuses of the national laboratories. Stockpile stewardship is critically important, and that's how we meet with the National Nuclear Security Administration, so they understand that the 5 mayors support the mission, because we understand that it's critically important to our local economies and to the national security. And as I mentioned before, our number 1 priority is public safety.
A few years ago, the Tri-Valley mayors, when they visited Washington, D.C., had the privilege of meeting with Jerry McNerney, who was a congressman at the time. Yeah. He has since left, but he's now back to get you.
And now he's our state senator.
Yeah.
So, but very important to build these relationships.
Yes. And may I have your remarks?
Yes, thank you. As Mayor Marchand and Hu have both mentioned, it matters to go back. Whether the federal government's priorities are aligned or not aligned with us, we must make sure that we are communicating what our residents want, what our voters want. And we partnered with Danville and San Ramon, and that's how we receive over the 350,000 individuals that we represent. But the other thing is that we can provide them with context about the consequences, both positive and unintended consequences of possible different actions that they may be evaluating, and really lift those concerns or those support for different things. One of them that Pleasanton is very interested in as we look to how we're going to fund our future is the tax exempt status of muni bonds, which was something that came up a bit during the conversations, because if that revenue source or that capital source becomes taxable, it will impact the ability for cities to raise money overall. And so that's really important to Pleasanton right now. But even further, as Mayor Marchand mentioned with the labs, we've got quantum computing in Pleasanton, we've got high tech in this region. So energy independence, energy security matters, but also affordability overall, and so all of these issues are things that we raise with different members of Congress based upon their interest levels and what they are advocating for themselves. We even discussed infrastructure pretty extensively with the 580, 680 and Valley Link, because that affects all of us, as well as the Iron Horse Trail that works through our region as well. And so I think the advocacy, it's been a bit since I'd been back to Washington, but the advocacy overall, we started in the morning, we had meetings all day, we had dinner and debriefed extensively and then planned for the next day. It wasn't a very touristy trip. It was a work trip for sure. And I just believe our residents are well suited or well benefited by us doing it as a region. The 5 mayors, it really does matter. And it's great to have the partnership with the 2 sitting here and also the 2 additional who are not here with us.
And recognizing Balch will not admit this to you, but he gave up a really nice trip to come here and be on location with a 3 of us.
I had a work trip, but that was just work.
But I interrupted you.
But one of to expand on what Mayor Balch was saying, our advocacy has resulted in millions of dollars coming back to the Tri-Valley. The Iron Horse Trail project in San Ramon is an example of our advocacy. That was several years of going back and advocating for that project. We ultimately got it. The
PFAS,
PFAS,
yeah,
the millions of dollars that we've got for Zone 7, for the polyfluoroalkyl sulfonate removal systems that we have. We have 2 of them now.
Yeah.
So those sorts of things going to Washington, D.C. and to Sacramento have resulted in millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars coming back to the Tri-Valley because of these efforts.
Who used to say millions and millions?
No, that was Carl Sagan. Billions and billions.
That's it. On that thought, we will say to you, I'm Dr. Marshall Kamena, and we have just finished our keynote time with our mayors for the Tri-Valley. Be with us again. Thank you for watching.